Greetings and welcome to Riff Tracks. I'm Mike Nelson, here with Kevin Murphy.
Happy to be here, Mike.
And Bill Corbett.
Legalize it, man.
Just like Prince, it's the film formerly known as Tell Your Children.
And also like Prince, it changed its name to a series of unpronounceable symbols.
Those were letters from the English alphabet. They spelled out Reefer Madness. Whose glasses are those? Hey, you don't wear glasses.
I found them on the bus.
Give me those.
Those of you who indulged in a bit of reefer before popping in the DVD are wondering how a major Southern California city was able to produce a movie all on its own.
Stay classy, Sam Diego.
Each character was assigned a generic white person name.
Dorothy, Blanche, we're just missing Rose and Sophia.
The Golden Girls, a show made much funnier by partaking of reefer. So I've heard.
Producer George A. Don't call me girly man, Hurley man.
Now see, if they had had one of these warnings at the beginning of Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, it would have saved me a lot of trouble.
Back in 1936, people were more easily startled.
Cartoons had the same warning.
And frankly, so should Ace Ventura movies.
Warning, during this movie you may experience emotions and sensations. We apologize for causing you to feel.
This refers to the disturbing drug craze of wiener dog huffing.
It's taken our best and our brightest.
Maybe not our brightest.
They call it a violent narcotic, but in marijuana's defense, it's never attacked or injured anyone on its own.
Though God help you if you come between a stoner and his bag of Funyuns.
Space expands, time slows down. TV is watched for over half an hour without realizing it's on mute.
Actually, I think those are the signs you've been hit by a train.
You would know.
Finally, the acts of shocking violence by your roommates when you won't turn down the damn fish.
pH fish. Soul-destroying effects. You know, the FDA now has to test every drug for its soul-destroying effects.
This was 10 years before the invention of the letter J.
So, why are some of the words in cursive?
The soul-destroying effects were responsible for that.
Of course.
In addition to destroying your soul, they also introduced random cursiveness.
Yeah, opening a film with 5 minutes of scrolling text really brings in the crowds.
Ironically, the only people that could possibly sit through this would be the stoners.
Most of whom are still wondering if the pizza guy could tell that they were high.
And these, I believe, are the joint rolling machines themselves.
If you look closely, you can see Cubs lose again on every one of these.
Dopes join school parent organization fight.
Meeting to take place on the slowest news day ever.
Must be stopped.
Trucked all these people in from the grapes of
And all
wrath.
other school parent groups about the country. And you must stand united on this and stamp out this frightful assassin of our youth.
But enough about swing
You
music.
can do it by bringing about compulsory education on the subject of narcotics in general, the dread marijuana in particular.
Then
That is
heroin,
the
meth, and
purpose
crack,
of this
if you have the
meeting, ladies
time.
and gentlemen, to lay the foundation for a nationwide campaign by you to demand.
This guy's
by
leadership
law
style probably
such
drove more people
compulsory
to
education.
drugs than it prevented.
Because it is only through enlightenment that this scourge can be wiped out.
Ironically, enlightenment can easily be achieved by burning a J while listening to side B of Pink Floyd's Metal.
Has grown and
how
is
I
now
do.
flourishing. It exists in almost every city and hamlet in the country.
I had a Hamlet this morning
It
at
might be
Denny's. It was
interesting
delicious.
and important for you to know some of the methods used in bringing these drugs into the country.
I would now poop out a
And the
drug-filled
work of
condom.
the forces of law and order, which are daily combating the traffic
You're not funny!
Get to the watermelon smashing!
by their agents. This ceaseless fight against the drug traffic
Sexy.
is directed by the Department of Narcotics, Washington.
Not the one in Des Moines.
I've received a letter of vital importance from a member of the Narcotics Bureau. I'm going to read this letter to you.
Even though it gets pretty steamy.
My dear Dr. Carroll, The suppression of the use of marijuana and of the forces lurking behind it are the most important jobs this department is now engaged in.
Now that we're not turning our back on drinking
There
anymore.
is one vital fact I would like to submit. There is a powerful agency. I speak of the school parent associations of this country, which can be invaluable in stamping out this scourge.
It's nice to see the farmer from American Gothic getting work again.
Could be the deciding factor in our fight against it. The weed marijuana is grown in every state in the Union. Recently, in the city of Brooklyn, New York,
Some weed grows in Brooklyn.
a field of marijuana was found behind a tenement court. The weed was here being cultivated.
By an old woman who wondered why her homemade
and
pasta
dried
sauce
and
was
sold
so
in
popular.
schools and at government army posts in and around New York.
Before the Army's motto was be all that you can be, it was puff, puff,
are
pass.
ground up and made into cigarettes by a simple hand machine. The deadly narcotic is thus quickly and easily prepared for its market.
By a guy in a cheap suit.
The sale of marijuana is even more difficult to detect and halt than the traffic in drugs such as opium, morphine, and heroin.
Fraser's dad has got the hookup, man.
They are hidden in fake jewelry cases, in the heels of shoes, women's shoes especially.
Ah, not in the
Because
high
the
heels
drugs
of
can
men's
be
shoes.
secreted
Got it.
in false heels. Hollowed shaving brushes are another medium. Books with false centers.
So drug lords
are
stole
often
all their
used.
ideas
Watch
from
cases
Scooby-Doo
are
villains, I see.
convenient hiding places. The value of drugs thus seized is enormous. Recently, a huge supply of heroin was taken.
From the
It was
incomplete
concealed
barrel
in an
factory.
apparently harmless shipment of 35 barrels of olive oil. The deadly drug was burned in the incinerator of the
Robert
Bureau of
Downey Jr.
Ingredient
can't even watch the scene
And
without
more
breaking
vicious.
down in sobs.
More deadly, even than these soul-destroying drugs, is the menace of marijuana.
Statement not based on fact or reason.
No doubt many of you do not believe that these things do happen.
Yes, I do
they
no
cannot
doubt
happen
not
to
believe
you.
that these things do
You may
happen.
also believe that the facts have been exaggerated. Let me tell you of something that happened right here in our own city.
Sir, the room
You
emptied
probably
out
read
15
about
minutes
it.
ago.
However, I'll give you the real facts behind the case.
Or my name isn't
There
Willie
was an
Tanner.
apartment near one of our high schools. It was run by a woman known as May Coleman.
May wasn't the daintiest gal, but she had heart.
Better go check in on my twin sister, B. Arthur.
May's brother Norm is taking an afternoon nap.
Hey,
We're out of toilet paper.
come on, May, get up.
What time is it?
Time to get up and give this place a going over. Looks like the Marines had landed.
There are dead Nazis everywhere.
High enough to take over the Marines and the Navy.
You better get on the job. Some of the kids may be up this afternoon.
I need you to hose out the
Jack,
bombs.
we can get along without dragging those young kids up here.
Oh, why don't you button up your lip? You're always squawking about something. You got more static than the radio.
This was before radio stations had been invented.
Yep. This relationship would be doomed if not for their shared love of selling dope to kids.
She didn't even mention my new hat. No Maui Wowie for her. Well, fine, she can have Maui, but no Wowie.
Every time this guy tries to make tea, a buzzer goes off.
Today this doesn't seem shocking, but remember that this is the 30s, and technically even she was required by law to wear a blindfold if she was revealing this much leg.
Yeah, and her husband was supposed to be out of the house, sitting on an ice pack.
Oh, greetings.
Well, hello, fella. How are you?
Fine, how are you? Come here. Come here. Glad to see you.
All of my drug dealers have strongly discouraged me from calling them fella.
Name? Should be right in. Just sit down and make yourself comfortable.
Don't sit on the cat. Oh,
Hey, what kind of a joint is this, Eddie?
Oh, it's all right, Gwen. See, they probably had a party last night.
Oh.
To clarify what kind of a joint this is,
A couple of your customers, May.
Yeah? They're old enough to know what they're doing. Not like those young kids you bring up here.
Well, leave my Cub Scout troop out of this.
Listen, I'm going to blow.
blow mud, that is. Got
I
a
gotta make some
baconator
deliveries,
knocking
and
at the
I'll
back
probably drop by
door.
Joe's place and bring back a couple of the kids.
Oh, I wish you'd lay off those kids.
Oh, why don't you get over their complex?
They didn't have the budget for the classic 30s witty repartee. They had to settle for the much less expensive flat insults.
Hollowed-out books and false shoe bottoms cannot compare to the most devious of all hiding places, the kitchen cabinet.
Yeah, see, this is why there was a dope problem. Cops were burning up man-hours at school crossings.
Score for this movie's very minimalist.
The three men walking theme is particularly jaunty.
That's right, stone guy watching at home. Everyone can hear the music except
Oh, by the
you.
way, Ralph, I'm sort of getting a little party Saturday afternoon over at my grandmother's. You know, the place with the swimming pool? Like to come?
Thanks, Eddie. Maybe I will.
I'd sure like to have you.
I'd sure like to be had by you.
So long, Ralph.
See you later.
This guy's old enough to date his grandmother.
Hey, Ralph. Hi, kid. Fine, Jack. And you? Oh, great. Where you heading? Oh. Hey, how do you like that?
I assume he's talking about the fresh catgut on the tennis racket.
That's the one I was telling you about.
His name's Bob.
Very nice.
She looked great in a boxy drab
I
suit.
don't know why you want to make such a fuss over that Ralph Wiley.
Oh, he's a swell swimmer. He made the freshman team that year he went to college.
Yeah, and that lets him out. My dad knows his family. None of them are any good. Father and mother just got a divorce from Paris.
How do you get divorced from a
You know,
European
Ralph runs around
capital?
pretty much on his own. He's been in a couple of jams.
Not a real
Well, I
actor.
only kind of say hello to him. I don't go around with him.
Well, you better not. He's a little too old for it. That's what my dad said.
Don't do drugs, kids. Be more like that guy.
Hello, Mary. How are you, Bill?
How are you, Ralph?
Oh, hello, Ralph. You know my brother Jimmy, don't you?
How are you? Well, I'd like you to meet a friend of mine, Jack Perry. Mary, Bill.
How do you do?
Glad to know you.
Damn, these drug dealers and their suave, charming
We have a
ways.
date to play a set of doubles. Oh, you can play anytime. Come on, we'll have some laughs.
Oh, we can't today, Ralph. Some other time.
Can I go along with you? Sure. Hey, I'll see you at dinner, sis.
Tell Mom I'm coming home with the munchies.
Don't be late, Jimmy.
Jimmy has an unfortunate tendency to wander into one web of deceit after another.
This film pioneered the technique of the ass dissolve.
And now a glimpse into how terrible life was before TV.
Oh. Early Kramer prototype there.
His career was also derailed when he berated a heckler, who turned out to be President Roosevelt.
Hey, he ain't no paper man.
Why, don't you know him? That's Hot Finger Friday.
Boy, he really swings out hot with a mess of jive. You want to dance?
Do I?
Dear God, get that guy some behavior-altering substances quick.
Hey, who needs marijuana when you've got incredibly annoying ragtime piano?
Yes, it was very popular at the time to put on your best suit, drink Coke, and sit around not talking to each
I
other.
was expecting us at the apartment a little
Miss
later.
those days.
Any new prospects?
Maybe.
This dance was called the Snap Her Arm Off.
The guy we brought, I don't think you're earning your paycheck.
Okay, I gotta check on how Newman's flagpole sitting is going.
Yeah.
I like a soda shop that has a secret yet convenient dope smoking room. When I was a teen, our soda shops didn't have secret yet convenient dope smoking rooms.
Sure about this, but I think this is the film that gave jazz musicians the idea to do drugs.
Yes, Charlie Parker cited it in his autobiography, Please buy this book so I can buy more drugs.
This guy was played by the fifth Marx brother, known as Dopo.
Oh, Jimmy, you're wonderful.
You cleared this room out in seconds.
You just finding that out?
This was before the advent of the wet towel under the door.
Dryer sheets inside a paper towel roll were still decades away.
Hey, kids, we're having a little party up at my girlfriend's apartment. Wouldn't you like to come? Oh, I'd love to. You want to come, don't you, Jimmy?
Oh, sure. Any place with you.
Well, come along. We can all go in my car.
I'll drive you back to your own house, Jack. Then later I'll drive you back to your car and you can drive yourself back.
See you later, Joe.
Off to Poison Youth, back for root beer float later.
He soiled his best copy of Mein Kampf.
That scene plays a pivotal role later, I promise.
It's sweet of you to help me, Bill.
Well, I'll try anything except domestic science.
Bill, don't you want to learn something about running your own home?
The answer is no.
No will
You know,
suffice in the
after that
future,
lecture
Bill.
we had yesterday, I went home and told Mother that the trouble with her pot roast gravy was she hadn't added 3 heaping teaspoonfuls of olive oil.
She started weeping. I felt
She
pretty
didn't say
bad.
anything. She just threw me out of the kitchen.
Well, I don't wonder. Hello, children. Hello, Mother.
Hello, Mrs. Lane.
How's that not being allowed to vote thing working out for you, Mrs. Lane?
Gosh, hot chocolate. Thanks, Mrs. Lane.
I know you can't study on empty stomachs. Now then, enjoy yourselves.
He will.
She will too, Mrs. Lane.
Bill puts the wad in gay wad.
Oh, thank you, kind sir. You're so very, very kind.
It's proof that dweebs really haven't changed
Mary,
much in
before we do that,
71
ma'am,
years.
How about reading some of this? It's swell.
Romeo and Juliet.
Don't you like it?
Give her a chance.
You know, when I study this, I kind of think of you. I just sort of feel as though you're there beside me.
And Mary maps her escape route.
Well, listen. It is my soul that calls upon thy name.
It is my fist that wants to punch your face.
Down lovers' tongues by night, like softest music to attending ears.
Romeo.
My dear,
What a
Hey, Romeo, you clogged our damn
thing
toilet.
to thee.
by the hour of 9.
Mom.
I will not fail. 'Tis 20 years till then.
Okay, slip her the tongue, that's right.
Well, I'll see you tonight, Mary. Bye, Mrs. Lane.
Goodbye.
Goodbye,
So
Bill.
long. Gosh, oh!
This was this actor's signature. He fell into a fountain in every film.
Oh, I guess I'm all right.
Just a little out of sync.
Bye.
Just a...
Bye.
Hey, Daddy!
Oh, Julie.
Why does he call his grandfather Daddy?
Hey, Dad, you got anything for me?
Well, there should be.
Don't bother your father every night.
I certainly don't.
Have you?
There you are.
What made you so late, Bill? I was getting worried.
Well, I had to study, Ma.
And I didn't want to eat whatever swill you prepared for dinner.
I saw him out walking with his girl. Bill's got a girl. Got a girlfriend.
Ma, make him cut it out.
Make him be less ugly, too.
Well, Bill has got a girl.
Quiet. And put that candy away till after dinner. Henry, you shouldn't have given it to him.
Well, he has got a girlfriend, and her name is Mary.
Yeah, I'll shut you up.
Off screen, too, these actors often fought bitterly.
Junior, put that carrying on. Junior.
Years later, Junior would flee to Canada in shame rather than enlist in World War II.
I didn't mean to Bill Ernest, I didn't.
Oh, well, what I'm burned up about is it just didn't say Bill had a swell girl.
Can the estate of Jimmy Stewart issue Bill a cease and desist order?
She'd have to be swell for you to like her.
Uh-huh. Sounds like you want something. Come on, what is it?
I want some reefer.
It's my model airplane. It won't work. Gosh, Bill, you could fix it. You can fix anything.
Okay, I'll fix it.
Bill gained this reputation after he fixed the family dog.
Leave me 20 cents, will you?
Here we are. You see?
Bill shot himself.
Oh, hello, Jimmy.
I was just waiting for the scene to start.
Mary told me to wait and tell her she had to go home. Her mother wanted her to go to the dressmaker with her.
Oh, thanks, Jimmy. Must be getting grown up. I see Mary let you have the car.
Yeah.
I stole it, actually.
But they get a
Mary's
place?
hacked up in the trunk.
Going any place in particular.
Well, then, how about driving me over to the show place with me? I'll buy you a soda.
I never drink that stuff.
Well, gee, I'll buy you something else.
Okay, you're on the hook for 1 root beer.
Well,
Hey, Mike, I'll buy you a hamburger.
I never eat that stuff.
Well, I'll buy you something else.
All right, you owe me 1
Oh,
cheeseburger.
swell.
Two squarest people on earth together at last.
Hi, Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy.
Hello, Jimmy. Hello, Bill. Come on, slide in.
Hello, Glenn.
Whoa, slide in. Sometimes a guy lucks out, huh?
Very direct.
Oh, I mean 1 soda and 1 root beer. How's May?
Oh, she's fine. We're going up to her apartment a little later.
Couldn't Bill come along?
Mm-hmm.
Straw big enough for you there, Ralph?
Bill, you'll get a kick out of it.
Thanks just the same.
Oh, come on, Bill.
Nothing but introductions and invitations.
Well, sure, a lot of the kids will be there. It's keen.
Well, I don't know. I really shouldn't. Well, okay.
Is there really a lot of money to be made playing the local soda shop?
He gets all the soda he can drink.
Ah, does that cover root beer?
It does not.
Someone someone's torturing a schnauzer.
He takes his usual precautions of hoping it's not the cops.
Hello, Jack. What do you say? Yeah, come on in.
Well, that's odd. Usually the record scratches when Jimmy walks into a room.
Come on, Bill, don't stand there.
Bill hasn't seen anything this insane since last year's freshman chess competition.
Don't you people have jobs? I'm just kidding. Keep smoking our dope.
Oh, Meg, this is Bill Harper. He's okay.
Hello.
Well, if you say so, it's all right with me. I'll be back in a minute. Hiya, kids. How you doing? There's a new one in today.
Now see, old-time pushers took better care of themselves. No matter how busy things got, they set aside time to have a nice, nutritious meal. Then they'd pedal more dope, then perhaps a nice nap before some brisk afternoon pushing.
She's got Ralph nuts about her, and now she's got her hooks up for this new kid.
Say, we haven't many more smokes. You better run over and get some.
Why couldn't you find that out when I was here this morning? Now I've got my car in the shop.
Well, what of it? That kid out there, Jimmy, he's got a car. He'll take you. Come on, get going. Hurry up.
Can't tell you how many bar mitzvahs or wedding vow renewal ceremonies I've been to that have been ruined by the hosts running out of weed. It's a scandal.
Hey, Jimmy.
Yeah?
I've got to run over to Cedar Avenue for a minute. You've got a car, haven't you?
Why, yeah, my sister.
Mind giving me a lift?
Why, sure, come on.
Okay.
He's loosening up, I think.
Little does she suspect that she's making out with a vaudeville clown.
No, thank you.
I only smoke Camels. Actual Camels. Ground up hump gets you so high, man.
Oh, May, don't forget me.
I never forget you.
The problem with their operation is they forget to charge people for their pot. It's really not a good business model.
Try one of these.
Welcome to Flavor Country, darling.
I thought you were scared.
Yeah, he really did give that impression, didn't he?
Of course, if you're afraid.
The iron will of Bill finally snaps.
That's better. That's more like it. I know you like that. Really, you will. Now just take a puff of that.
Within weeks, Bill's car will be filled with Bob Marley 8-tracks.
It's one of those you had to be there type things.
Just be a minute, kid.
Hey, Jack, get me a cigarette before you go, will you?
Why, I oughta.
You know, when you buy a suit with chalk stripes that wide, you pretty much either have to become a pusher or open up a Rocky Rococo's pizza franchise.
Well, hey, James Joyce. I guess he took these roles when times were tough.
Slumming for the money.
Typical Joyce.
Sellout.
How's business?
Getting better every day. Those kids sure go for it.
Swell.
Had to run over for a couple more cartons. Ran short today.
On April 20th of all days.
Danny, pack 10 gross for Jack Perry. Who? Pete Daly. All right, send him in. It's all right, stay where you are.
Hi, I'm here about the Pushers Wanted ad in the paper.
I want to talk to you.
All right, go ahead. Jack's okay. What's the beef?
That's actually a far more accurate slogan for Wendy's.
You're after the dough, aren't you?
Yeah, but I don't need dough that bad. Taking 2-bit pieces from kids.
There are millions of 2-bit pieces just begging to be taken. Don't be a dope.
I'm just dope enough to draw the line selling hop to kids.
He doesn't mind selling dope to kids as much as he minds beating the money they owe him out of
You
them.
know what my policy's always been. The boys are not satisfied. I'm always glad to have them retire. Retire permanently.
Or they could move them on up to their new crystal meth division.
long.
Well, that guy will just have to fall back on his women's studies degree.
I only wish you had a couple of kids so I could...
Yeah!
Ah.
All right, Jack, pick up your stuff from Danny. They'll be ready by now.
Okay, boss.
The boss could use a few motivational posters on the walls.
Jimmy still shook up from finding a filthy poem Bill wrote to his sister in the glove box. Strong stuff.
Let's go, Jack. I'm red hot.
Better be careful how you drive it. The first thing you know, you'll be ice cold.
Smoking a joint and then driving is the equivalent of talking on the cell phone while doing your nails, eating an Arby's Big Montana, and sending a fax at the same time.
So slightly more focused than your average driver.
I usually throw shaving into that mix, too.
Here's that guy.
Good time to do it.
Tell my wife for 50 years I never loved her.
Yep. Try to stand them up after a crippling accident. That's what they tell you.
It's important to move the victim's severed spine as soon as possible.
Mary, you're not eating your breakfast again.
That's because it's yesterday's breakfast, Mother.
Bill Hartford hasn't been around lately. Anything wrong between you two?
Why should there be anything wrong?
Well, you've carved another boy's name into your arm for one.
And whatever it is isn't serious, I know.
I'm sorry, Mother, for snapping at you like that.
Don't worry about it, dear. Why don't you speak frankly to Bill? He'll be honest whatever the trouble is. I'm sure Bill Hartford never lied about anything.
Yes, that's right. Bill's mother says he never lies.
Unfortunately, Bill's mother lies like a teamster under oath, man.
Speak to him about it?
Why, of course. Oh, Jimmy. Sit down, darling, and I'll have your breakfast for you in a moment.
Remember the morning after my own first hit and run? My mom did not make me a nice breakfast, I can tell you that.
Jimmy, there's something worrying you.
What have I got to worry about?
Why don't you tell me?
Well, for Pete's sake, don't start to cross-examine me, will you? I'm all right.
Jimmy!
Is that old man brain on your sweater?
You like that?
And scene. Brilliant!
Whoa, cameraman thought he saw a pigeon.
Oh yeah, the FOBOI, always butting heads with the COIOA.
But there is an organized gang distributing the narcotic.
Yay, he's back.
Not only in my school, but all over the city. You government men have got to find some way to put an end to it.
Of course, I agree with you, Dr. Carroll.
Despite your girly
Do you
last
realize
name.
that marijuana is not like other forms of dope? You see, it grows wild in almost every state in the Union. Therefore, there is practically no interstate commerce in the drug.
If we could set some up, we'd make a killing.
Are tied. And frankly, the only sure cure is a widespread campaign in education.
Oh, it's all right to talk about education, Mr. Wyatt, but we educators can't do anything until the public is sufficiently aroused.
Let me show you something.
Speaking of aroused.
In 1930, the records on marijuana in the Washington office of the Narcotics Division scarcely filled a small folder like this. Today, they fill cabinets.
Not as big as this cabinet full of my furry /fic, but you get the idea.
All these devoted to marijuana records.
Could you move the cabinet closer to the desk? You'd trim 20 minutes off this movie.
A 16-year-old lad apprehended in the act of staging a holdup. 16 years old and a marijuana addict.
Big fan of Robot Chicken,
Here is
too.
the most tragic case.
Yes, I remember. Just a young boy. Under the influence of the drug, he killed his entire family with an axe.
In his defense, they were harshing his buzz.
Here, in Michigan, a young girl, 17 years old, a reefer smoker, taken in a raid in the company with 5 young men.
She had the time of her young virginal life that night.
Flagrant case. Yes, I remember. The newspapers made quite a play of it. In West Virginia, wasn't it?
Yes. And there are hundreds of them coming up, new ones every day.
Yay! Oh, no.
I'd like to take these records, if I may. I feel they would be of invaluable assistance to me in combating the evil in my school.
You're very welcome, Dr. Carroll. Thank you.
Now let's go get blackout drunk at one of the dozens of legal bars on this block.
Sit down, Bill.
Bill, you've been using the phrase totally brah a lot
There
lately.
seems to be something wrong. What is it? You were always a fine student. You always had excellent grades.
Never listened to Rush.
Guess the work is getting a little harder, Dr. Carroll.
No, it isn't that. Bill, I'd like to help you. But of course I can't unless you let me.
Open your heart to me,
You're
Bill.
undermining your health.
Well, there's nothing, Dr. Carroll. Really, there isn't. I'll study harder, honest.
Honest. If you were being honest with me and honest with yourself, I'm afraid you'd tell me an entirely different story.
Perhaps the story about the 10-inch tall piano player.
Bill, I'm going to ask you a straightforward question, and I'd like to have a straightforward answer.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it true that you have, perhaps unwillingly, acquired a certain harmful habit through association with certain undesirable people?
Maybe that question wasn't quite as straightforward as he'd intended.
Took a long way around, I think.
Diagram
Sir,
that thing.
I haven't, Dr. Carroll. Well, that is, you see, I'm worried about something at home.
I'm Junior's real father, okay?
Wow. We'll just have to let it go at that. But remember, if you ever want to confide in me, no one will ever be the wiser.
Thank you, Dr. Carroll.
The children are drawn to his natural warmth.
And his resemblance to the mummified corpse of Orville Redenbacher.
Mummified.
Hello, Mary. You want to play a set?
Thanks, Teddy, but I'm waiting for someone.
Well, if you're waiting for Bill, he hasn't been here for weeks.
How long have you been here, Mary? How am I standing in?
Come on, Jimmy, play something hard!
I think that woman is half scarecrow.
Jimmy's playing the done got away with murder because the old man had no relatives blues.
Must we see her mix the drink? Show her holding a mixed drink, and I'll infer that she had mixed it earlier.
He'd give anything for a studio audience applause track when he makes his entrances.
Doesn't take that new kid long to catch on.
Don't take any of them long.
Wish this film were half as concerned with showing the dangers of marijuana as it was with showing people preparing drinks and meals.
Say, don't you ever get fed?
You're feeding me, can't you see?
Wish I'd never married you. What could have possibly clouded my judgment to make me think it was a good idea?
Give me a knife and a fork, will you?
Get it yourself.
Yeah, that was my old man's response whenever we needed anything. Silverware, food, insulin.
Get it yourself.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I never had a bit of luck with the old pretend to dance right into the bedroom trick.
The lesson, doing drugs gets you laid.
You also get away with murder.
That too.
It's great.
Wow.
Ladies, that type of reaction can't be good for your self-esteem.
Oh, why, Bill, that feels like a penis, only smaller.
Goodness.
Sorry.
And Bill dies. She would notice the difference 45 minutes later.
What the? Yeah, that's how I got the time I accidentally stumbled onto the Sex and the City bus tour.
Okay, folks, if you're ever this guy at a party, it's time to seek help.
Morning, Miss Witt from the police department.
Good morning.
We're tracing a hit-and-run driver. Someone caught the license number at the place of the accident but didn't get it quite right. So we're checking all numbers like it, and yours is one of them.
Well, I'll try to help you.
You remember what you did on the 29th of last month?
Oh, that was the day before Mother's birthday.
Second cop there was
yes, I
hired for his
remember that,
raw
because I left
charisma.
school and went directly to the dressmaker's with Mother. I was there all afternoon.
Did you happen to loan your car to a couple of men?
Since that's something that
No,
people routinely
no,
do.
I had the car all afternoon myself.
Well, thanks, miss. Sorry to have troubled you.
Tell me, was the person killed?
Unfortunately, he wasn't, but that's still no excuse for hit-and-run driving.
Acceptable excuses for hit-and-run driving include being a few minutes late or being a Kennedy.
Just walk into Sam Spade's office? Where the hell is she?
Has Jimmy Lane been here today?
One of Gary Shandling's early roles.
He was in. He went over to May's place. You know where that is.
Well, he was going to wait for me here, so he didn't give me May's address. Are you sure Jimmy didn't leave any message for me? Mary?
Given that guy's 65 and still a soda jerk, I suppose we can forgive him
No,
for
he
being so
didn't.
bitter.
But I guess you're okay. I'll write it down for you.
I would have believed that he had written it down, but no, I guess, showing it's okay.
Ah, if this is another purple penguin eating an ice cream cone, I'm just gonna smoke more weed.
Mary, come right in.
Don't you know me?
Oh, why, he's around somewhere. I think he went out to take Agnes home, but he'll be right back. Come in and sit down, Mary. And let me take your coat.
Don't do it. He'll try to smoke it.
Who's the new kid just came in?
This guy must have had 400 meals during the filming of this thing.
Oh, it's that gal that Ralph's gone overboard for. Funny, we've never been able to get her up here before.
As opposed to her fruit of a doubles partner who won't ever leave.
Hey, scram, will you?
Take your slack-jawed, drug-induced stupor somewhere else.
Here, Blockbuster Video's hiring.
Ugh.
I find women really respond to silent, leering creepiness.
Yuck. Yeah, he has the look of a guy who's actually tried the old hole-in-the-popcorn bucket trick.
Smoke, Mary?
Thanks. Are you sure Jimmy will be back soon?
Sure, any minute.
Probably just out fleeing the scene of one bloodbath or another.
Ah, she doesn't hold a candle to Bill Clinton.
And even though they don't exist yet, she wakes up craving Doritos.
Invent Doritos, please. Yep, more than anything else, Bill regrets their 2-hour post-sex conversation about why cars don't have U-turn signals.
She's laughing at something funny she saw a dog doing earlier today. Now she's laughing because she can't remember what it was. Now she's laughing because she wanted to tell him about how she forgot but can't remember she already did. Now she's laughing because she forgot she had hands.
Now she's just laughing.
Say, what's the matter? Am I an orphan?
Where do you put it? You got a hollow leg?
A line often uttered by Paul McCartney while writing alimony checks.
You, Mary. Oh, Mary, give me everything. Mary.
Still doesn't hold a candle to Bill Clinton.
Oh, Mary.
Yeah, they're gonna realize soon they really don't have all that much in common. As opposed to these two who really got something special going.
Well, in Ralph's defense, nah, I can't really think of a way to finish that sentence.
Everything's okay.
Romeo.
He's having a dream sequence about having a dream sequence about watching his girlfriend get assaulted. Guess Quentin Tarantino isn't the only one then.
Sweet of you to help me, Bill. Oh, thank you, kind sir.
So, Bill decides to help out by doing his impression of a ventriloquist dummy.
Some of us are trying to sleep, Ralph!
Jack's eating is temporarily interrupted.
Very annoying.
No, I just wanted them to get a room!
Yeah, people often do register their shock by remaining completely silent and maybe moving half an inch or so.
And the tension is broken by a well-placed coconut sound effect.
Look.
Jack, is she all right?
Milk it, milk it, milk it, and react.
She's dead.
Ah, damn it, Ralph. This happens every time you try to molest someone. Why do I keep inviting you over?
Get me some water. Now listen, you two.
I'm not angry at you, I'm just disappointed.
Get out of here and forget you're ever in here today. I'll handle this. Now get going.
I think there's a 1 o'clock showing of Wizard of Oz at the Bijou.
Wants to get this cover-up over as soon as he can so he can get back to his macaroni salad.
Give it to me.
I baptize you in the name of nicotine, ganja, and the holy reefer.
What, is there a water shortage? Just dump the pitcher.
Here.
Now pour some on his crotch so he thinks he peed himself. It'll be hilarious.
Harry.
Guess he shot his gun off twice this afternoon.
The mood is somewhat lightened by the fact that he's wearing pants just below his nipples.
Mary. Mary! What happened?
You killed her.
It was the long-term exposure to your Brill cream that did it.
The most important thing in this scene, that she hold the water jug.
Mm-hmm.
After I scram, you call the cops. And this is your story. Remember it. These two kids came up here for a couple of beers.
Uh-huh.
You were out in the kitchen, you heard the shots.
Mm-hmm.
When you got in here, that's what you found. Just stick to that story.
Should I include the line you flubbed in my story, or not?
Mary! Mary, speak to me.
Well, now he's just taunting the Jimmy Stewart estate. Whoa, that's a lot of ass.
Look at this guy. His look says, I'm gonna order a soda and I don't care who it offends. Nothing can stop him.
You know, when I get older, I hope I'm not still going to soda shops and bossing around the high school kids. Probably stop doing that when I'm 50.
Good plan, Mike.
Hello, Jack. I was just talking to a friend of mine. A cop.
I was just saying, stop hitting me with your nightstick.
Sergeant on the homicide squad. Guy you hit that day died.
Died? You didn't...
No.
I didn't bring you a present.
I didn't crack. I'm not going to. Nobody will ever know you were driving that car.
Well, thanks, Jack.
In exchange, you have to become my butler.
As long as you keep your mouth shut that you were ever up in May's apartment.
Why, sure, Jack, sure.
Oh, and by the way, your sister was just murdered.
Okay.
It's like a smash cut for this movie.
Blondie, funny for last time ever.
Your Honor, I'd like to recall Dr. Alfred Carroll to the stand.
Call Dr. Alfred Carroll to the stand.
Any jury members caught attempting suicide to get out of the doctor's testimony will be held in contempt of court.
Take your time.
Dr. Carroll, as principal of the Lakeside High School,
And a total
did you,
tight
during
ass.
the last 3 months, notice any changes in the demeanor and attitude of your student, William Hopper?
Yes, in a number of things. For example, at times disassociation of ideas.
He just made that phrase up.
In another instance, I happened to attend the...
He drew Judge Cheney. May as well go straight to the chair.
And while Bill Hopper had been considered an exceedingly good player, I saw him miss the ball by as much as 3 or 4 feet.
No, wait, that was the blind
This, I
kid.
understand, could be attributed to the use of marijuana. It causes errors in time and space.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness isn't qualified to express opinions upon the effects of narcotics.
Nor is he qualified to hold a SAG card.
Dr. Carroll has been called merely as a character witness.
Well, then, although you didn't know, to your own knowledge, that the defendant was using marijuana, did you
The
notice
skeleton makeup was
any
Bill's
changes
court-appointed
that would
attorney's
lead you
idea.
to believe, as an educator, that he was under some severe mental strain, which might possibly have been induced by some drug?
Yes?
I feel about 10 degrees colder every time he starts talking to the camera.
It was during a class of English literature. There was a serious discussion of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet when he suddenly burst into an uncontrollable fit of hysterical laughter.
In his defense, I had
By the
just
way,
let
Dr.
one
Carroll,
rip.
6 months ago, what would have been your opinion regarding the character of my client?
He was a fine, upstanding American boy.
Who had 2 parents in their
A good
mid-60s.
athlete and representative of the caliber of young men we are proud to graduate from our school.
Smoking his own fingers.
Oh, snap out of it, will you? It's not our fault.
It's not their fault. What are they still doing
Why
here?
did I ever bring him up there anyway? He's just a kid.
It's
Can't hang him.
Shut up, shut up!
The mellowing out effect of marijuana clearly doesn't work with this guy.
Talk. Go off your nut and have me that way, too. It was his own fault, wasn't it?
Shut up! They've got us hidden out, haven't they? The cops can't find us.
Lest they take the unthinkable step of asking to come inside.
Yes, I want to get out of this place.
You're gonna stay here as long as we have to keep those two out there undercover. Until the trial's over. Or the boss gets a better idea.
Wonder if he knows they can hear him through the gauze curtain. Very little sound damping properties to those.
Not worried about her. We gotta keep him gagged.
Gonna keep me what?
He's about ready to crack.
All you gotta do is keep him from having too many reefers.
Any day now, that punk will get hot. He'll probably spill and tell all he knows if he gets a chance.
You know, Jack just seems a little out of his element, not being in the process of eating a meal and all.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll get it.
Really off his game.
I'll see you later.
Where are you going?
White Castle.
There you
I'm gonna see the boss.
I always make sure to give my loved ones 2 rough taps on the shoulder, just in case it's the last time I ever see them.
Hello, Jack.
I like a drug kingpin who allows walk-ins.
What are we gonna do about that Wiley guy?
Still jittery, huh?
Keeps going on about some road runner.
What do?
Keep feeding him those hot sticks.
That's what May's been doing. That's no good. I got a hunch that he's due to crack when that Harper verdict comes in. If he's on the tee, he's liable to take a powder on us and blow his topper to the DA.
Whoa, a little slang overload there.
Think, we'd all be better off if he never heard the verdict? Well?
Fill his ears with taffy.
What are you
That's what I
waiting
mean.
for?
That's the universal sign for I'll be sure to kill him.
Hitler annexes Sudetenland. See D19 for details.
You, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have a duty to perform. A duty to yourselves and to our community. Mary Lane is dead.
Just telling them that now?
The evidence you've heard at this trial could not have failed to convince you of the guilt of the defendant.
You, the world's ugliest
By
jury.
his own admission, he pressed the trigger of the weapon that sent lovely and innocent Mary Lane to a tragic and untimely death.
Causing whoever this is to become upset.
We are not so much concerned about the motives behind the deed as to the deed itself.
What were its
While
motives?
The defendant has told you that he saw someone attacking Mary Lane, and that his mind went blank from that moment on, the defense has been unable to produce one witness to substantiate that statement.
You said there'd be graphic photos.
Have people point out where he touched them on a doll.
Where the hell is Wapner?
Men who have tried to bring out the fact that the defendant might have become momentarily insane when he fired the shot that killed Mary Lane.
My offer to hold your hand still stands, Bill.
That he was insane. William Harper was sane when he visited the apartment where the
It's a
tragedy
very
occurred.
yelly time,
He
wasn't
was
it?
in the habit of visiting the place. He was sane when he went into a bedroom with another young woman. You've all heard what went on in that room. You heard it from the defendant's own lips.
The begging, the weeping, the failed attempt after failed attempt to maintain an
Okay.
Get your point.
She had found him out. In a moment of anger, he deliberately and willfully killed her.
Yell!
If such deeds are permitted to go unpunished, this community would cease to be a decent and safe place for us or our children to live.
It could turn into New
I do
Jersey.
not believe I have to plead or even demand that you bring in a verdict to punish the defendant for the crime that he has committed against society. You are upright citizens. That is why you were chosen to judge another.
Apparently chosen from the
And
League
as
of
honest,
Crabby People.
upright citizens, there is only one verdict which you can find, and that is a verdict of guilty.
If you can't spell guilty, just draw a frowny
This
face.
part will be adjourned until the jury's verdict is reached.
Hey, Gary. Pretty good trial. Huh?
Not bad, Fred. Dragged a little here and there.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
I suppose you all feel the same about this case.
That it sucked.
But he might have been insane when he did it.
No, he wasn't. He knew what he was doing.
Yes, the perils of selecting jurors who are too dumb not to weasel out of jury duty.
But supposing he was insane.
You can never make me believe it nor anybody else.
We'll take a first vote.
This guy's my kind of jury foreman. He just kind of yells at everybody to vote guilty so he can get home for dinner.
Okay, who wrote sex man on their paper?
11 for conviction, 1 for acquittal.
What can I say? My kid's school play is tonight, and this is my only way out.
But there's a reasonable doubt about the boy's sanity.
We can't.
No doubt about the fact that he murdered her. He admitted it himself. That wasn't the first time he was there.
Now, the kind of subtlety rarely seen outside an episode of The Hills.
It's not even in sync. Good Lord, I'm baked.
We got to make an example before boys like that contaminate all of our children. We can't have every murderer behind the gag that he's insane. Sure, they see red before they kill somebody. But whose fault is it?
The immigrants or the pinkos? Who are we blaming this week?
When they were shooting this scene, the actors were told to be very quiet so as not to cause any undue drama or interest.
Scared? Sad? Bored? Gassy? It's hard to tell with old Bill here. Bill?
Finally managed to wedgie a guilty verdict out of that one last juror.
Jimmy is smug, knowing that his own violent felony has been swept under the rug.
Yeah. Anybody else get some during the recess?
Have you reached a verdict? We have. The defendant will rise.
My God, he's a sorcerer.
I think he means under his own power.
Okay.
What is your verdict? We find the defendant guilty. Is charged.
Well, there goes hopes of going to refrigeration school.
Grandpa Dad and Grandpa Mom are clearly devastated.
All right, after party at Bennigan's. Free drink for everyone who voted to convict. Sure to tip your bailiff, okay? Thanks, guys.
This is set up to be such a dramatic moment because Bill's chances of surviving even a day in prison are 0%. In fact, he probably won't even survive a 10-minute bus ride to jail.
You know, George Washington posed for that portrait there after a hard day of hemp farming.
Well, whatever else, their hideout is very tastefully appointed, and the live classical music has to make it pretty livable.
This movie seems to believe that smoking tons of weed will eventually make you look like a panda bear.
Stop it!
What's the matter with you? Give me the creeps.
This is how I get when the person ahead of me in the grocery self-checkout lane lets their kid scan the groceries for them.
What do you want?
Bring me some reefers.
I don't want to give anything away, but I will tell you that these two don't get married.
Thanks for not spoiling it.
They're going to hang him. Blanche, they're going to hang him.
He's talking about Vanzetti, I see.
Well, what about Sacco?
Sacco can go to hell.
I feel very strongly about that.
What's that crazy laughing?
Something Dane Cook never has to say to his audience.
I want to get out of here.
They'll pick you up and hang you if you don't pipe down.
I want to see Jack. Jack. I want to see Jack.
Well, come see me courtside at the Laker game.
You'd better quiet him. I can't do anything with him.
I'm pretty sure I got this guy at the DMV for my license renewal one time. It was awful.
I've got to see Jack. We can't let that kid hang.
This was the birth of the whole dope fiend rapist with the heart of gold cliche.
He'll be here. Don't worry, he'll be here in a little while.
I've got to see him. I've got to.
Yeah, great, but just lay off the Stravinsky, the Schoenberg, the Bartok.
Ralph gets like this when he's away from his kids for too long.
Sentimental old
Come
guy.
on, darling. Everything will be over soon.
Unless it's one of those hangings where they just kind of dangle there,
You want me to
gurgling.
play something for you?
And it won't be over so soon.
Yeah, that's it. Play something.
All right. Come on.
What do you feel like? Smoke 2 joints? Hits from the bong? Rainy Day Woman number 12 and 35?
Honey, give me a smoke, will you?
All the stoners in this film play the piano really well. In my college days, maybe a handful of them could play the opening of Smoke on the Water.
Potheads I know mainly pretended to play along to the keyboard demo.
They were pretending?
Well, now she'll pretty much have to start playing jazz. She'll be powerless to resist.
The message, true love conquers all.
I don't think that's the message.
I think it's the message.
Master. Master! Play faster.
Okay, wait, now that's too fast. Slower.
For $10 an hour, this guy gives private piano lessons. They tend to have a singular focus, though, regarding speed.
Type of weed-induced ecstasy usually only brought on by 2-hour doses of the Game Show Network.
Now, right there, I think you can plainly see him realizing the effects this role will have on his career. Right there. Yep, now he knows he probably won't even get print ads. And forget dinner theater.
Jack finally got his doobie bill.
Whoa.
I know what you want. You want to kill me.
Well, it's not my top priority, but
You're
yeah.
crazy. Take it easy, kid. I just want to talk to you.
Well, I just want to try out my new Tin Man impression.
Despite the insanity, Ralph's ability to pinpoint his aim at Jack's crotch remains impeccable.
Well, it is kind of funny.
Hurry! There's a terrible fight going on.
Ma'am, this is Domino's Pizza.
Apartment 32.
Hello?
He reapplied his eye makeup after killing Jack.
Ah, okay, good break. I'm going to wail on the corpse some more.
Jack's last generous act was to surprise May with 4 policeman strippers.
Does all look familiar, Mike?
Ah, my wedding night.
Which I know about, apparently.
Take your hands off me.
This guy just wants to get in a little practice on his Brahms before he heads back to the station.
Oh, hi, doing, Jack. Hurry. Are you ready to tell what you know?
Did your boyfriend like eating meals? We must know.
Meals.
I don't know what that is. Maybe a guy talking to his junction box?
None of these guys are after Ralph, but I thought they'd throw him in there anyway.
The actual basement where they uncovered this stock footage.
Yeah, back when a fire axe was your search warrant. Those were days.
Nowadays, you only get this kind of police response if a grandma has accidentally downloaded a Nelly MP3.
Guess he didn't see them come in both the front and back doors.
Hit and run victims, artificial hip, develop severe infection. Doctors say death imminent.
Wanted to give people ample time to read these 2 words.
What's this
If we
taking
can gain
place?
some measure of leniency for my client, she is prepared to enter a plea of guilty and, in addition, turn state's evidence in the case of William Harper.
I regret that this court is not prepared to bargain with justice.
I'll tell anyway.
Oh, she drives
I
a
was
hard
there.
bargain.
I saw it. I know who killed Mary. And I'll tell you who killed Mary Lane. It wasn't Bill. It was Jack. Jack Perry. He shot Mary, and then he put the gun in Bill's hand.
Then he sharpied a wang onto his forehead.
Afternoon, and Mary came in looking for her brother. Bill and I, we'd been in another room. And Bill came in. He caught Ralph with Mary, and they started to fight. But it was
This guy
Jack who
seems
had
a
the
little
gun.
too interested in that bin in the other room stuff.
Let's go back.
And then the gun went off. I saw it.
Heard it, really. Not much to see.
I can see it now. It was horrible.
Let's not get too dramatic about it. You never even met the girl.
Mary was dead.
Very Reaction again? Silence and moving 3 inches to the right.
See, Judge, Bill didn't know he hadn't killed Mary. He was so doped up, they made him think he had.
They also made him think he owed them each $5.
Oh, if they'd only let him. But this is the truth, Judge. I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah, we can't be sure of that. We better zoom in on your face a little more.
He put the gun in Bill's hand. It was Jack's fault. And it was my fault, too.
But mostly Jack's.
I got all of them to come up to the apartment. I'm just as much to blame.
In a moral sense, though, I take no responsibility under the law.
Do I understand you wish to plead guilty to a charge of
Paging
fostering
Mr.
moral
Herman.
delinquency in the case of William
Pee-wee
Harper?
Herman.
Yes, I'm guilty. I am.
I'm guilty of having a shrieky voice.
Prepare a statement for signature, and also an order setting aside the jury's verdict in the case of the people versus William Harper.
Now, if you don't mind, my great-grandson John Hodgman was just born.
In the interests of justice, I shall direct a verdict of not guilty.
Once again, to heighten drama, they maintain total silence.
It's a risky technique.
Sign here, please.
It's a sworn statement that yours truly is the biggest sexual dynamo in the entire 7th Circuit.
With all my love, signed Judge Turtlehead.
You shall be brought into court on Thursday, the 17th, when sentence will be pronounced. Meanwhile, you will be held as a material witness in the case of the people versus Ralph Wiley.
You have your choice between sexy and regular women's prison. I recommend sexy.
Her lawyer has actually fallen mute at this point.
Ah, yes, I remember my own long, slow walk out of the courthouse after I'd paid my fine for failure to yield. It's a lonely, lonely feeling. I wondered if I'd ever get those points back on my license, or whether my parents would ever again loan me the Ford Tempo. Don't remember having that flashback, though. Or that one. Now, that looks a little bit more like one of my flashbacks.
That's Kevin.
Yeah.
Well, the light fine and several hours of community service she's bound to get won't be the most pleasant thing to deal with, but it really could be the wake-up call she needed. With the help of her family and friends, she was, well, hey, where are you going? That wasn't necessary.
Dear God, no, she has the car keys.
We've come in the hearings before this court today
Judge Turtlehead presiding.
to what I hope will be the final actions revolving about an unhappy and unfortunate case, one whose horrible tragedy will forever remain with me.
Daddy Dakin.
I am happy to have been enabled, before it was too late, to order the verdict of the jury in the case of the people versus William Harper to be set aside. But, young man,
I didn't do it for free.
although this court is convinced that to declare you guilty would have been a gross miscarriage of justice,
one among many this year.
we cannot condone your acts.
At least on my watch.
And we can express only the hope that your experiences may not alone keep you, but thousands of others from the vicious pitfalls of marijuana.
Bill's trying to look serious, but he can't wait to peel out of the parking lot, middle finger shooting out the window.
You will be obliged to witness what you yourself
Flashing a pressed
so
ham
narrowly
against the
escaped.
window.
Call the case of the people versus Ralph Wiley.
His parents can now while away the remaining 2 years of their lives knowing their son isn't a killer.
I'm sorry I dogged another broad while your daughter got murdered. So, Applebee's?
Yeah, give me the Yankees +2 and I'll take the Cardinals even. Great. Thanks.
Of course, the inability to straighten one's tie is now a well-understood symptom of marijuana use.
Your Honor, in this case, the state waives trial of the defendant, Ralph Wiley.
Because he was once a star athlete.
It is recommended, Your Honor, that the defendant be placed in an institution for the criminally insane for the rest of his natural life.
He should receive 10,000 volts to the sack daily.
Joins the state in this request.
especially the sack shocking part.
Since counsel for the defense, as well as counsel for the state, seem to agree on this, I see no reason why the request should not be granted.
The defense really phoned it in on this one.
That happened right
Whatever.
here, to your neighbors. It is not too much to say that in your hands lies the possibility of averting other tragedies like it.
I'm not wearing any pants back
Work
here, by the way.
untiringly so that our children are obliged to learn the truth.
Swinging free and
Because
easy.
it is only through knowledge
like a
that we
pendulum.
can safely protect them.
A shriveled up
Failing
pendulum.
this, the next tragedy may be that of your daughter, or your son,
Or your ferret.
or yours, or yours,
I see where this is going.
or yours.
Or your kid will make a stupid decision every now and again and turn out fine. It's called being normal.
Just keep him away from guys named Weasel and Teabags, and they'll be fine.
Just glad they ended with him, because it was his passion and joy and love of life that got this film off the ground in the first place. Okay, next time you need a fix, come right back to rifftracks.com.
Riff Tracks. Some movies have it coming. This has been a Riff Tracks presentation. Riff Tracks, copyright by Riff Tracks and Legend Films. All rights reserved. Unauthorized use or duplication is prohibited.